Talk is the Chairman and Managing Director of Air India. Mr. Arvind Jadhav is also joining us live tonight. Let me also, as I welcome Mr. Arvind Jadhav, good evening and welcome. Just spoke to the Civil Aviation Minister and I asked him there how much of a free hand he has. With us also in the studio is Suhel Seth. Suhel Seth was on the board of British Airways till late last year. Suhel, welcome. Thank you for coming back. Ashwini Kakkar, one of the India's best-known voices in the travel sector, CEO of Mercury Travels, is with us tonight. George Abraham, General Secretary of the Aviation Industry Employees Guild, is with us tonight. Jitendra Bhargav is coming in some time. My first question goes to you. Mr. Jadhav, is there something wrong between you and the unions? They seem to have a problem, particularly with you. They say that Arvind Jadhav doesn't talk to us. We don't have the right, working relationship. We put requests out and yet we don't get appointments. Is that true?
No, it's not true. First off, let me tell you that there is a mechanism within the organization. We have a whole department in which the industrial relationship department works. They have constant meetings with these people. We have a system of redressal of the mechanism available with us.
Right.
We have meetings with these people also. And more than me meeting or anybody meeting, it's the organization which has to ensure that the issues are taken up. These are identified by the departments and all that, and then we take up the issue on. We have no problems about that.
Well,
and we have been on constant dialogue with these people.
Well, I don't know if the dialogue is really working here, because today the public support is generally with you in the sense that people are really upset with what's been going on in the airline. Let me open this up for debate tonight. Because what has happened in India today is just absolutely regrettable. It's an ego issue, and as a result of an ego issue, you've had the entire country held to ransom. Suhel, you've been on the board of an international airline. What do you think? What's your advice to Mr. Jadhav?
Listen, Mr. Jadhav, you have to realize that you're running an airline. You're not running the a sub-tenancy of the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Start sacking people.
I do realize
we, as taxpayers, have fattened these Johnnies who go on strike, who inconvenience passengers, who do it at will. They are shameless, they're irresponsible, they need to be arrested for creating havoc in our country. Time and time again. 1992, when Indian Airlines went on strike, it gave the handle, the logic and the rationale for India to privatize airlines.
Totally.
What if Indian Airlines or Air India, as it is known today, was the only carrier available to India today? And if we didn't have private airlines, you guys would hold people to ransom. The reality is, we have been fattening you. You have lived off the lard of the land.
When you say you, who do you mean? You mean Arvind Jadhav? You
Not
mean
Arvind
Air India? You mean the unions?
Let me tell you, Mr. Jadhav, with due respect to you, I've heard good things about you, but the reality is, you can't have IAS officers run airlines. They can barely run ministries. We need professionals to run airlines. You need boards which are packed with professionals. Look at the way JRD Tata ran the airline. Today, the airline is but a ghost of its former past.
But are you being unduly unfair to Mr. Jadhav? I mean,
Mr. Jadhav is symptomatic of a larger malaise. It is not his fault. The fault lies in us.
I do not agree to this.
I get your point.
I do not agree to this. I don't expect you to agree.
Yes, Mr. Jadhav. Let Mr. Jadhav respond to you, Suhel.
Arnab,
yes,
Arnab, can I respond to this?
Please
can
do,
I respond
sir.
to this?
Please do.
Let me tell you this. Ultimately, at the end of the day, any CEO is going to be recognized and he is going to be evaluated by what his quarterly progress reports are there on hand. I have inherited an organization which had about more than 7,000 crores of operating losses and a huge debt burden on its balance sheet. We had an organization where merger and acquisition was a big issue. We had two cultures to be taken up in the matter. I had inherited an organization which, on the day when I took charge and all that, hardly was able to do about 22,000 passengers per day. Let me explain that one. And now today, when the last 3 days earlier, we had reached about 50,000 passengers on our network. And we were able to reduce about 36% of losses on the hand. And it's not that merely this one, that we started looking at on-time performances. Our on-time performances also started increasing. Our passenger load factors started increasing. Suhel, wait, let me explain. I do not want to say that this is good or that is bad. I just only want to say that if you are a professional, please evaluate him as a professional.
Sure.
And you can ask me on that question, that whether I have really passed or failed, or whether I have really performed or not. But right now, let me put it in the position. I have come on the TV right now here to explain 2 or 3 issues on hand. The debate is basically as to why this happened and is this really necessary or not. Arnab has very clearly said, do you have a problem on hand? Why is it that you are not able to solve? Plus, understand that there are two cultures, two different cultures in the organization which have to be brought together. It's not an overnight issue. There are, wait, let me put it like this way, that first and foremost, I would like to say this one.
Yeah.
This situation is bad, Arnab, I do agree with it, and I apologize to the passengers on hand. I completely apologize for that one.
No, but what?
But you have to understand the situation that I am undergoing a crisis. I was in Mangalore that day.
No, I appreciate.
Mangalore that day.
No, I appreciate you're undergoing the crisis.
More than 100 volunteers are working there.
I completely appreciate, and I did say, and I'm going to ask this to you. Let me ask George Abraham here, since you more or less represent the unions tonight. Mr. Abraham, isn't it thoroughly insensitive of the unions? Don't the unions owe an apology to passengers for letting, especially all the victim families who lost their dear ones in the Mangalore crash, for creating this kind of a situation? Wasn't this the worst time to call this flash strike?
There are two issues.
Yeah, sure.
One is the immediate issue